Hello and welcome to Career Experience TV. Today, we're diving into something that affects every single one of us, the safety of your personal health information. You know, it's probably more vulnerable than you might think, but there are some really powerful principles designed to keep it safe, and that's what we're going to unpack today.
So let's just start with a big question, right? In this digital age where everything's online, how safe is your health information, really? It's a question that impacts every single one of us, whether you're a patient or you work in the healthcare sector.
To really understand what's at stake here, get this. A single data breach didn't just leak medical records, it exposed the private entry codes to the homes of 890 people. Just let that sink in. We're not just talking about digital data. This is about physical safety. It's about life and safety.
So how do we prevent this kind of thing from happening? Well, we're going to walk through it all. We'll look at the problem, explore the solution, see how it works in the real world, meet the people in charge, and finally talk about why this matters so much to you.
Okay, so let's dive into our first section. Let's pull back the curtain on the real-world consequences when data protection fails.
The fallout is severe. A breach can compromise patient care and safety, cause major operational shutdowns like canceled operations, and hit organizations with huge financial penalties. But for patients, it causes severe emotional distress and can completely shatter the trust we place in our health services. And of course, it can all lead to very costly legal action.
And look, this isn't just a hypothetical threat. Remember the WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017? It was a real-world disaster that paralyzed essential health services, forcing thousands of appointments and operations to be canceled. It put patients at immediate risk.
And as this shocking report from the BBC highlights, the danger isn't just digital. A data breach can create very real, physical threats for vulnerable people, completely erasing the line between online security and personal safety.
So, faced with these kinds of risks, a powerful framework was developed, a blueprint for trust, designed to protect our information while making sure it can be used to provide the best care. What's really interesting is how these principles have evolved. They started back in 1997 with 6 core rules. Then, in 2013, a 7th was added to emphasize the duty to share information when it helps a patient. And most recently, in 2020, an 8th principle was added, focusing on being transparent with patients, so they're always adapting to modern challenges.
So here's the key takeaway. They're not just rules about locking data away. They are a smart guide on how to use and share sensitive information safely and ethically, making sure the right people have the right information at the right time.
But how do these principles work in the real world? Let's walk through a common scenario that happens every single day.
Okay, imagine a GP referring a patient to a specialist. First, they have to justify why sharing the info is essential for care. That's principle 1. Then, they only share the absolute minimum data needed, just relevant history and results, nothing extra. That covers principles 2 and 3. Next, access is restricted just to the specialist and their team. That's principle 4. And finally, the patient is told what's happening so there are no surprises. That's principle 8. It's a clear, secure process.
At the very heart of this is a delicate balance which is captured perfectly in principle 7. On one side, you have the fundamental duty to protect a patient's confidentiality. On the other, you have an equally important duty to share information when it's in the best interest of their care. This gives professionals the confidence to act when they need to.
But these principles aren't just words on a page. So who ensures they're actually followed? That's where a very specific senior role comes into play.
Think of the Caldicott Guardian as the conscience of the organization. This is a senior person whose job is to champion and protect patient information, making sure it's always used legally, ethically, and appropriately.
And this isn't some niche role. We're talking about a widespread network of over 22,000 of these senior professionals in Britain and overseas, a whole community dedicated to this cause.
And their job is comprehensive. They oversee information sharing policies, advise staff on tricky confidentiality issues, ensure compliance with the law, promote awareness of the principles, and if something does go wrong, they investigate and manage any data breaches. They are constantly working to improve things.
So, what's the bottom line here? Whether you're receiving care or providing it, let's talk about why this is so critical for you.
This whole framework creates a system of mutual trust. For patients, it means you can have confidence your information is safe,
It gives you transparency and the power to make informed choices. For healthcare professionals, it provides a clear, ethical framework. It gives them the legal backing to share information for better patient care and helps them fulfill their professional duty.
Ultimately, the goal is a system built on trust, where sharing data actually improves care without sacrificing privacy. By embracing these principles, we build and maintain the trust that is the absolute bedrock of a great healthcare relationship.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Trust is built on transparency. Now that you know this framework exists, do you feel more empowered to ask how your data is being used? Because understanding these principles is the first step toward a more secure and trusting healthcare future for all of us.